no name on this one either, but they ask, what does your heritage mean to you, and how does it affect your political views? That's a great question. I think I have an interesting mix. My dad fled political violence in Mexico they shut down the college there, and so he came up here, and my parents met at Western. My mom's side of the family had been logging in Washington State since before it was a state, so like very deep roots. And so you have these two sides of my dad's side, who, my dad is such a proud American, like a lot of immigrants, like very grateful for a system of laws and an opportunity. My mom's side is really independent and self-sufficient, is just incredibly valuable to them. And I really love the sense of like skepticism, I think, that can come from these logging communities that were very self-sufficient. I think that that's a really important lens to view federal legislation through. Like, right, some of these bills, they make for good reading, but how is it actually going to get implemented? And what is that going to do to the little guys running small operations who can't overcome these burdens? I think when I was in high school, I actually attended both young Democrats and young Republicans because I really wanted to understand why they disagreed and what they disagreed on and who I thought was right on what issues. One of the big things for me was my brother, who's like my best friend, came out as a gay in college, and that really was sort of a revelation to me on the human impact that some of these anti-LGBTQ policies have on real people. It's not something that happens somewhere else. It's something that it's real, it's concrete, and it's human cost. And so think about that a lot. And just my experience being a small business owner and trying to navigate a bureaucracy with no power, waiting in permit lines for decades and getting different answers depending on who you're asking what, and feeling like the rules weren't written with you in mind, and I think that working in the trades, seeing, we joke a lot about mechanical engineers designed this car, not somebody that was gonna have to figure out how to get into the engine bay and do it. And that stuff really matters to me. Seeing, the ways that bad technology can make people late for work and lose their job. Things like that, the real micro level things, the personal level, and putting policy through that lens. There are customers that I think about, there are neighbors that I think about, there are family members I think about when I'm looking at a piece of legislation and trying to decide if I'm going to sponsor it or not, or what piece of legislation I think should be there. I think about discrete people and people who have written me letters, people who show up to round tables on our ag listening tours and rural childcare summits, things like that. And so thank you to everybody that has given me the gift of your perspective, because I want you to know, I remember a lot of you, and it really is influential on the way that I think about these things. So yeah, that's some of it.